Greetings, I'm Liz.
And I am Scandal.
And it's time for another Arcana update.
Whee!
Okay, so first things to cover, we do intend to move forward with our series. We have gotten permission from Nyx Hydra with specific parameters to continue with our series, and it is our intention to do so, but we are not sure when we are going to do that because we are still arguing for the preservation of the root of the work that we've done on Julian's route previously.
Right, because if obviously the people who are following us, you guys, we love you, that we're glad that you're here. You know that we've put in over basically 25 hours into that series, and that's including the beginning, like parts of the series where we did the sort of introduction to the Arcana, the part that everybody gets to play, right?
Yes.
And because that one also went up for basically grabs in terms of Nyx's whole copyright strike thing, so
I mean, it didn't get struck, but it was what we worked with primarily of going, what are your rules and what can we do as far as this is concerned?
Right.
So anyway, so we are working on that. We are unable to do some of the things that have been suggested to us, including redo it, because it's impossible to do a blind play again. And the idea of writing the script and acting out again everything that we did sounds like magnitudinous ridiculousness. Let us act as if we don't know.
Right, and part of the thing is really we had wanted to play this blind to really give you what it sounds like the story is trying to tell you or teach you
without any context.
Yes, exactly.
So that is one of our biggest approaches.
Because again, if you know us, we really don't know Atome games, and the Arcana was one of our biggest introductions to it. So we would like to actually potentially go forward doing Nadia's route, actually instead, while we argue about Julian's route with the parameters that Nyx Hydra has given us, but we're not sure. There are a couple of things, so currently what we're actually mostly arguing about is the paid scenes, as we've mentioned a couple times now.
And how to handle them.
And how to handle them, because we feel like we should have the option to be able to choose them if we feel like that they would fit our character choices.
However, we don't want to essentially shaft Nyx Hydra in any way of going, if you won't have people choose these scenes or you don't believe you will, if someone shares them, even though there are choices in the scene, and so it's different based on the individual.
I know, it really is.
It really is. Like, we had one person, and I love this story, where they're like, you will kiss him! And we choose take the soup, and they're like, no! And they're like, okay, but we didn't even get any soup. So, if we had kissed him, would we have gotten the soup? And they're like, suddenly I care more about the soup in this scene than anything.
Right?
Anyway, so we've had some positive experiences, but we don't feel like we're completely spoiling the scenes. But again, we do want to meet with their demands. As much, like, within reason. Like, we don't want to be unreasonable. We don't want them to be unreasonable.
Right.
And so what we're looking for is to find a way to censor their content so that they feel comfortable that their interests are protected, but also be able to choose whatever scenes we feel would naturally flow with our understanding of the story.
Right. And again, that thing of going, like, at least for me, historically speaking, based off of what I've ever seen, and this is probably a little bit more personal, of going, like, I feel that, honestly, like, as we've pointed out, there are multiple choices even within paid scenes.
Yes.
You're not going to be able to show the full paid scene, and we've had this discussion with Nyx of going, we're not trying to show off all the paid scenes. We've actually deliberately, even though we did argue, so some of the people that were there, you did hear us switch back and forth a couple of times for sure.
Should we do it?
Should we not do it? Going, should we find out if with this, whether or not this would be worth it kind of thing?
And some of it we were suffering from a level of basically of pure pressure with the sort of narrative dissonance of the game, going, but it feels like you're supposed to choose it because you miss something if you don't.
Right.
And then eventually, as we've gotten a feel for it, as the game taught us what to expect, we were able to better understand what we would have wanted to choose and what not.
Right, and so we are definitely fairly certain that we would not be experiencing that anyway, and we would never go back and re-choose, because that was not our intent at all.
Our intention isn't to go through each of the paid scenes and go, okay, here's every possible choice in there and what it looks like, so that you can all have it. It's just to experience the story organically.
Right.
So we have done, so we've had a couple of people like reach out to us and go, hey, do you need help or whatever? And we were specifically connected. Well, someone referred them.
Yeah, it's
true. So
we've
had a couple of people interact with it. And Tommy Lynn actually came and talked to us about their experience, and that was extremely helpful in reference to sort of understanding how this works. And we've done some other research in understanding that copyright strikes from Nyx Hydra are fairly common in reference to the Arcana. So nobody's understanding what's required in reference to Let's Plays. So it is our intention with this process to find out as much as possible what is needed so that the entire community, if they're interested in Let's Playing, if they're interested in sharing it in a performative fashion, that they're able to do what's needed of them to be able to get that enjoyment from the game in the community.
Right, and it does actually sound like also Nyx Hydra has changed over the years, because also, so like Tommy Lynn pointed out to us that this happened to her, and like I believe I'm using their proper pronouns, so I apologize. I make the assumption, because as far as I could tell any references with her, she seemed to use those, so I apologize.
We didn't ask.
We did not ask. task. I will say that. Is going that it seems like it was about a year ago when this happened for them. And we did actually go and we looked at some other YouTubers, and it seems like it's happened pretty consistently where basically people either got struck fairly aggressively in ways that they didn't understand or comprehend, and had some issues with them. So we're hoping, and as far as we can tell, based off of their stories and then to ours, they have definitely changed.
Yes.
Now, where that's going to go, we're not sure, but we're really hoping that we can basically establish some sort of baseline for not only us, but also like all the other people who want to share this game, who want to be Let's Players of this game and share their Arcana experiences with their apprentice and their decisions and their choices.
Or other people who simply want to go, I've played the game, I'm currently playing the game. When I saw what you did, it made me, one, want to revisit the game.
Right.
Or two, go talk about what choice I made that was different than yours and how it affected things. Just have more community sharing.
Right.
So both sides, as far as ourselves, Lies and Scandal,
Yep.
and Nyx Hydra, have been spending a lot of time on this. We've been very thoughtful and very thorough with our emails for ourselves. And they have been pretty, they have clearly put effort into responding to us.
Right.
Though there has been, as we've said before, some miscommunications and some trial and error learning to understand each other as we are complete strangers approaching each other. And there's that level of, especially through text, learning how to understand each other.
Of course.
But they have clearly put a lot of effort and consideration into what we've said, so we're really hoping for a positive outcome.
We really are. And we are definitely going to be doing, again, a big, huge wrap-up video at the end of this where we're going to be going through our emails and we're going to be going through the process that we've had with them.
Yeah, we may not go like word for word, but we plan to publish all the emails on our Patreon page,
right,
which is not behind a paywall. You can just go check it out. I was going to say, but so that people can get an idea of what it was like. I know that for me, working in the professional world, seeing how other people have handled problems, especially when they've tried to do it in a very thoughtful and, complete fashion, is very helpful. In the same way that seeing someone else write their resume can be really helpful. How did you do this?
Right.
And so it is our intention sort of to do like a light customer service review at the end of this, and hopefully we will get a good review from them as we intend to give, a review to them.
Right.
In the meantime, we're really glad that everybody's come along with us for this journey. This has been a fascinating experience for a very, very tiny, very new channel.
It's true.
Kind of thing. And going, we're not like somebody, who has even 1,000 subscribers dealing with a copyright strike. We're just here going, all right, well, we've got some business experience based on our other jobs. Let's do our best,
Right? So we do definitely appreciate the support and the sharing and people being active and interested. Like, we've had a great amount of fun playing in the world of the Arcana for what the developers have decided to share.
And the access to doing so many different diverse voices, because everybody's from so many different places, has been a lot of fun. Because some of the other games that we've voiced, there's no real clear indication that anyone would have a different accent or really strong different intonation. And so it's like, it's fun to do the really diverse cast. In the same way that we've been excited that Stellamore may eventually publish more things, and we can do more with that, because we were very inexperienced when we approached Stellamore.
We might actually go back. We've been talking about going back and just doing it. Yeah.
Anyway, so to wrap this all up,
definitely thank you guys very much for being here. If you'd like to help us and support our channel even more, please feel free to go check out our Patreon or our Ko-Fi. But I have definitely been Scandal.
And I am always Lies.
And it was great playing with you.
Bye!